We on?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. So I'm Chris with XL Kites. I'm one of the instructors for the company. Our phone number is 281-508-6485. We also have an email address, houston at xlkites.com. All right. So what I'm here today to talk to you about is basically the different style of kites. As a new person getting into the sport, it can be very daunting. Basically, you're looking at all this gear and you're wondering what's correct for me. Basically, we have two style kites out there. We have the sea kite and basically every other kite underneath that. The sea kite is going to be good for you if you've already progressed to advanced style riding. But realistically, it's very limiting because it doesn't have the wind range, it doesn't have the easy relaunch. So those are very hindering as a beginner. So I would recommend stay away from the sea kite as long as possible. If you'd like to try one, go out there and try one. But other than that, really stick with all the other kites. So now I'm going to dive into all the other kites. Basically, we have a couple of different styles here. We have the RPM, which is, again, they use all kinds of names to kind of confuse you, but it's called a open sea kite hybrid. We have a Z kite, which is a delta style kite. We have the rally kite, which is again what they're classifying as a delta shape, but I don't classify it as because that it has an high aspect ratio in the wing. But we'll go into that later. Then we have the bow style kites, the switchblade. Those kites, again, is kind of comparable to the rally style. Basically, this kite here is a good kite for somebody that's advancing very fast through their lessons. It's a little bit trickier to fly, doesn't relaunch as easy, but if you're, have the skill level and all that, you can definitely get on the RPM right away. And it's a kite that will last you pretty much forever, unless you really want to go to a C shape. Then the next kite that I'm going to talk about is the delta. The delta shape is something that a lot of people have gravitated towards after the crossbows. The delta, what it gives you is it gives you a very deep in the window pull, so it has what we call grunt to it, allowing you to have an easier time riding the kite without having to really stroke the kite or move the kite around. So most people, as an entry-level kite right now, is going with the delta shape. Sits very far back in the window, has a lot of power to it. So if you're struggling with the kite movements and stuff like that, you probably want to go with the delta shape. From there, we go up to a little bit higher aspect kites. That's where we get into the rally, the switchblade, and then the rebel. Basically, with these style kites, what we get is they're a little bit faster in the turning. So I have now the ability to have a power stroke. That also allows me to use it in a much wider wind range. So with these kites, I actually get more wind range per size. So that allows me to get down to two kite sizes. Most of these kites you can get away with two kite sizes. The deltas, again, they're closer to just raw power, raw pull. So again, there you definitely have to have the correct size boards to get away with two kite sizes. Where like the rally, the RPM, the switchblade, you can get away with two kite sizes and maybe just one board. But still recommend probably two boards. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got.
Okay, so prices. What do you get when you buy a kite from us and all that?
Okay, so basically the way we do kites and everything is if you buy a kite, you get a free board with it. We do have some boards that are an upgrade charge, so you have an upgrade of $150 or $225, but that basically covers every board that we have. So I mean that's surf shape, twin tips, whatever. Yeah, most of our kites pay full retail on the kite. You get a free board with that kite.
What are the other deals?
The other deals that we have with the kites, so if you decide to, hey, I already got a board, I don't need a board with my kite, we also have the deal, get a kite for anywhere between 15 to 20% off, depending on the year model and the style of kite.
Yep, and then the setup session if they're local, right?
And if you're a local guy, we totally get you set up for 30 minutes. Get you out on the water with a 30-minute setup, make sure you get out there safely and get your equipment understood and all that.
So I'm a run-of-the-mill beginner. I'm not slow through lessons, but I'm not going extremely fast. I'm going to be riding in the Houston area during the summer, so I've heard it's pretty light winds. What size and model kite would you recommend for me? I'm about 200 pounds.
So for the average guy around our area, most of the time we're going to use a 14-meter kite and a relatively big size board. So probably anywhere between the 150 range down to like maybe 140 for like a 200-pound guy. Basically, that gets you out most days with our wind conditions, which is anywhere between 10 to about 16, 17 miles an hour.
Okay, what if I was a 180-pound guy in like 20-mile-an-hour winds, and I flew through my lessons? I had a really easy time. What size and model kite would you recommend?
So if you're really advanced, getting going really fast, and you're a lighter guy, we could recommend in 20 miles an hour, we could recommend anywhere between a 12 meter to a 10 meter. Probably the 10 meter if the winds are going to stay at that high level. And then a smaller board. Basically, you're going to probably be anywhere between like a 142 down to probably 136 or even maybe a 135. Basically, what we want to do is make sure that you get out there with the adequate equipment to make your learning experience fun, easy. So we don't want to give you something that's too big, overpower you a lot of times, and we don't want to give you something small where you're always having to work it. Board size, we find that best thing that works is about a decent sized board, but not something that you feel like is a big log on your feet. So we use that for lessons, not so much for once you're up and riding.
What are the models of kites for those two riders then?
So basically the first rider, we would probably recommend either the Switchblade or a rally kite. It's taking you a little bit longer. These kites are easier to relaunch, a little bit more user friendly. If you're progressing faster, we're going to probably recommend the RPM style kite or maybe even the Rebel. Basically, getting with that skill level, you'll have a little bit more feeling and understanding of the kite, and it won't have such a hard transition to maybe a little bit faster, a little bit not feeling the kite as much.
Nice. Is that about it?
I think that's about it. I know it's very daunting, and it's very hard to to understand all this stuff. So again, if you have any questions, please email us or call us. Again, that number is 281-508-6485, and the email address is houston@xlkites.com.